In this clip for the computerized financial systems N4, we are going to be looking at opening inventory and closing inventory. These are transfers that needs to be done at different times during the month. So I'm going to now start off by finding the inventory journal that you'll be using. Pastel uses stock journal. So waiting for it to open on the journals, you're going to find general ledger and you're going to find stock journal. There you are. Okay, so on the general ledger, you're going to find general journal and stock journal. You could find others, but at the moment we are focusing on stock journal. Click on enter. You then will find that the stock journal comes up. What you need to do is firstly go to your settings and ensure that tax processing is unticked or unchecked, because when it comes to opening and closing stock, there is no VAT element, so we don't tick tax processing. Close it. That's in order. We're now going to look at the period. This is an exercise where we'll assume that it's period 12, which is now the end of the financial year, 29th of February. However, we will focus on the first day of that month. Now here, I want to explain to you how opening stock will be used, or opening inventory. Let us now find it, and then I will explain to you how Pastel, so we've got, as Pastel has captured this description, so they are calling it opening stock, which is fine. And we're going to click enter. So, rule number one, you will now need to debit opening stock. Okay, when you look at the bottom, you're going to find opening stock here. That means that account is called opening stock. So what you are doing on the first is to close off or to transfer the trading stock figure of last month, and you bring it into the books for this month. Let me explain further. Remember that at the end of the month or at the end of the financial year, you will have to transfer the trading stock of the previous period, which is in the balance sheet or statement of financial position. You have to transfer that figure into this new month's or new period. That then will mean you need to take that figure and bring it into as opening stock. Remember that in the income statement or statement of comprehensive income, at the end of the financial year, or even at the end of the month, depending on how this company operates, all the entries in the income statement or statement of comprehensive income will be closed off and no entries will appear, because at the end, the net profit or retained income or retained loss or net loss will be transferred to the capital account. Hence, you will have a trading stock figure. That figure is in the balance sheet. So it was last period or even last financial year, depending on the question. So let's assume For simplicity, it was the last period, which was period 11. So you now have realized or would realize that trading stock is a asset and it's a current asset. And current assets have a debit balance. So what you need to do now is to close off that account and bring that figure as the new period's opening stock. Hence, I am debiting opening stock. And the reference there will be the reference of the memo that's stated in the question paper, or adjustment reference number. For simplicity, let's call it MEM 04/01. Your description now will be that you will be saying closing or transfer of inventory. Make it simple. Stock, right? So we're going to debit it. Whatever figure appears in the balance sheet, let's call it 50,000 rands, and that figure now will bring it into as this month's opening stock. So now when we start off this period, we have stock in a business valued at 50,000 rands. So that's why we debit opening stock. We now go and find the contra account, which means that the account in this example here, because this opening stock is being debited, as you see it's in the debit column, the contra account will become the credit account. So now, remember, as I mentioned earlier, trading inventory is, or trading stock as it was previously known, is a current asset. It has a debit balance. Close that off and bring it into the opening stock figure for the next period, or for the new period, you have to credit trading inventory, which means you're closing off the trading inventory account or trading stock. I'm going to now find it. Remember, it's an asset, so it will be under assets somewhere at the bottom there now. Right, we're under fixed assets, so we're looking, remember it's a current asset, so we're going to look down, we're going to scroll down, and there you are, somewhere along the line we're going to find inventory. There's a chair, right? So we're going to now inventory, we go to now credit inventory, which means we have removed the stock from the balance sheet and we have now brought it into the income statement or statement of comprehensive income by using the account called opening stock. So simply put, you debit opening stock and you put the figure on the debit side and you credit trading inventory or trading stock, whatever it is there stated in your question, right? In this case, it is inventory. So you credit it because remember it has a debit balance. Now you're crediting it, we're closing it off. At the end of the month or the financial year, in this case, we're going to call it the end of the month, you now have to do a stock valuation where you physically, or you could use your computerized system, and you go and find a figure or calculate a figure which is going to be the value of the stock at the end of that period. In our case, it'll be period 12, so it's the last day of period 12 now. That figure can be found. I will close this now down. We'll close this one down because you can't close it in a second, right? If we're going to close it, if it doesn't allow us, okay, it's fine. I'm going to delete this line here. We'll come back to it. Let me go one down. So it has captured that first line. The line one has been captured. Row one. let me close it. And where will you find, if it's not given to you, the value of the trading inventory or stock or inventory at the end of that month or that period, the last day? Usually, companies will use the system of past. If it's not financial year, they will just go to view, go to inventory, and there you're going to find inventory valuation. View, inventory, inventory valuation. Now, I am uncertain and unlikely there's a figure there. But in your case, when you do the entire month's processing and capturing of transaction, you will get a value. If you were not asked to capture it in the inventory journal, then you will find it here. Or either way, you're going to find your value of your stock here on the inventory valuation. The word valuation tells you that it is the stock. So I'm going to now find the period, which was period 12, right? And click on it. Not sure how it's going to develop because I haven't done any work on this here. And we're going to now click OK. We're going to take all the accounts, and ideally you should have a figure here, and that is the total value of all the stock at the end of the month using the average cost method, right? So let's call it 120,000. Assume it was that. So that's the value of your closing inventory. Let's go back to our work where it was under journals. You're going to go to general ledger. You're going to find the stock journal. You're going to find that your row 1 has been captured. You now go to row 2 and you're going to change the date to the last day, and you're now going to debit the asset, which is the inventory account. You're going to debit it because now you have calculated the value of inventory. So you're going to debit inventory, which will then mean that this entry now will appear in the statement of financial position. So just trying to scroll to which day it is now. See the word, the account inventory is there. So there it is here. Your debit inventory. Your memo should be the same. And now we're going to see closing transfer of, let's change it here. So go down. We're going to see closing stock transfer. Okay. So or closing inventory. Now we'll put the figure again on the debit column. Because remember, your inventory is now getting debited. You have worked out from your inventory valuation report, or you would have done a physical valuation, capturing of all the stock and then calculating it, and then you're going to get a figure of 120,000, for example. And your contra account will now be closing stock. So we're now going to search closing stock. We'll go over this again for you to understand it better. And there is closing stock, and you're done with your stock journal. So let us understand what are this account doing. By debiting opening stock in the income statement, this amount will appear under cost of sales. So if you recall, you will say debit, you will always say cost of sales is opening stock plus purchases plus carriage on purchases minus any returns and then minus closing stock, which means that this figure of 120,000 rands, there it is here. So this 2020 is the account called closing stock. So in short, and this is the most simplest way I'm going to now explain, you debit opening stock with the previous figure and you credit trading stock. For this period's figure, you debit trading stock and you credit closing stock. So it's debit opening stock, credit trading inventory, debit trading inventory, credit closing stock. And I did mention the easiest way to remember is closing stock starts with C, so you way to credit it. So that is the explanation of stock journal. I hope you understood it. And these amounts here now will appear in the statement of comprehensive income because you will have opening stock with the purchases minus closing stock. There it is. I'll give you a cost of sales. So that is a short clip explaining closing transfers. I wish you well. Thank you.